Hello YouTube, Tech Tips 123 here, and today I'm making a really quick tutorial showing you guys how to the most efficient way to set up your Xbox 360 so you can switch between playing OG Xbox games and 360 games. So basically, when you play OG Xbox games on your 360, a lot of people get really confused because they try to run the game and it always crashes, and the reason for this is when you play OG Xbox games, you cannot have any plugins enabled, meaning you can't have stealth servers, you can't have mod menus, you can't have anything set in dash launch at all. So what people do is they do the complicated way where they every time they want to play OG Xbox games, they'll disable all their plugins, save, restart, play OG Xbox games. Then when they want to switch back to Xbox and go on live, they'll basically set the plugins back, and then they keep switching back and forth. But today I'm making a tutorial on how I have mine set up so you can very efficiently switch between your normal setup on your 360 with all your plugins, and then also play OG Xbox games without having to go into dash launch over and over and changing back and forth. So, and I'll also show you guys how to set up the OG Xbox compatibility partitions, get you the latest files and everything. So at the end of this tutorial, you'll have your Xbox set up, and I'll explain everything, so just follow along with me, and I guarantee you at the end you'll understand everything, even if it's all over the place. Just follow exactly what I do, and I'll show you on camera later what I mean by what I'm saying. So even if you're a little lost, just bear with me. At the end you will understand. Just watch the video all the way through. Okay, so first thing you're going to need for this is you're going to need to download this file. I'm gonna leave the link in the description for this, and then you're also gonna need a USB. The USB can be any size, but I recommend a small USB because you're gonna be using this USB often. Basically, you're gonna use it every time you want to play an OG Xbox game. You're gonna need this USB, not because the games are gonna be on it, but just because it's gonna be a way to disable and enable plugins without having to go into dash launch and change it. So first thing, plug your USB into your computer, right? So my USB is right here. It's only 500 megabytes. Like I said, this USB is basically, I'm not going to use it for anything else, but specifically to switch when I want to play the OG Xbox games. You're going to need to format the USB to FAT32. And if you don't get the option right here in Windows, if you only see NTFS and exFAT, then what you need to do is you need to download GUI format. I'll leave a link in the description for that too. And basically, make sure if you're using the GUI format that File Explorer, anything with File Explorer is closed. So anything that's where you're like seeing your files or anything has to be closed, or it'll give you an error. So anything with this you need to close. So any folders that you have open, that needs to be closed. Not programs, just any folders that view files in Windows. Basically the File Explorer. So then open FAT32 GUI format, or GUI format is what it's called. I just renamed it to that. But now select the correct drive. Make sure you do not select the wrong drive because it will delete everything on that. So make sure, so double check, go over here, go to this PC, and make sure that you're deleting the drive that you want to use for your OG Xbox and not something else. Now for me, that's drive I. See, it's 530 megabits or megabytes. And give me a sec here, put my phone on silent. Okay, so now press start, press OK, wait for it to format. Okay, now next what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into the USB, right? And then what I've given you here is everything that you're gonna need. So open this and you'll see a folder in here. Double click that folder and you'll see three other folders. You'll see two folders and launch INI file. Basically copy all of these to your USB drive. So do exactly what I'm doing. Just copy the compatibility, OG Xbox compatibility setup, and launch.ini to your USB drive. Now what this launch INI file does is, okay, so I'm gonna briefly explain this for most of the advanced users, and if you understand this, then maybe it'll actually just be a little bit easier. But basically what I did was this USB is going to be used every time you want to disable plugins. So basically what I call this is a reset USB. This launch INI file, so the way that an RGH Xbox is set up, right? So your hard drive is where you save your plugins to. So when you turn on your console without a USB plugged in, a dash launch looks at your save file for whatever plugins you have set up that's on the hard drive. But if you have a USB plugged in, right? So say you turn on your console normally without a USB plugged in, without the USB you just made plugged in, it's going to launch your stealth server, everything, because that's the settings that's saved on your hard drive. But when you turn on the Xbox with this USB plugged in, it's going to disable plugins only till you take the USB back out. So basically when you plug this USB in and you turn on your console, this launch INI file on here basically says don't use any plugins. So disable all plugins when this USB is plugged in. As you can see, no plugins are set. So what happens is When you turn on your Xbox with this USB plugged in, it's going to disable all plugins, which is what you want when you're playing OG Xbox games. But then, say you're done with playing OG Xbox games and you want to set your plugins back, like your stealth server back, all you have to do is unplug the turn off your console, unplug the USB, and turn it back on. And at that point, because the USB isn't plugged in, because the reset USB isn't plugged in, it's going to read the settings on your hard drive, which is your stealth server, whatever you have set for your plugins and dash launch, and it'll launch normally. So basically, easiest way to say it is you turn on your console normally without the USB plugged in, it'll go back to your stealth server, you'll be connected to live everything. So that's 360 mode, meaning your 360 games will run online, everything. But then you turn off your console, you plug in the USB and turn it on. At this point, your console will launch and it'll be the normal dashboard because none of your stealth servers, nothing will be accessed. So that at that time, you can launch your OG Xbox games without having to go into dash launch and change back and forth. Then when you're done playing OG Xbox games, right, you can turn off your console, unplug the USB, turn it back on, and then you'll be back on live like magic, basically. So you're basically have two devices. One, the USB tells your console to boot without any plugins, but your hard drive will tell your Xbox to boot with all the plugins you already have set, your mod menus, whatever. That way you can easily switch between the two without having to go into dash launch, disable plugins every time, and then re-enable them when you want to switch from OG Xbox to 360 games. Okay, so I think that's explained enough, but at the end I will show you exactly what I mean on camera. Okay, so once you have everything on your USB, just basically go back on your console and plug the USB in and turn on your console, and you'll see that it boots with the normal Xbox dashboard and all your plugins are disabled. Right now we're going to be setting up the OG compatibility file so that you can actually run them with. So basically there's two things you need to run OG Xbox games. You need all plugins disabled, and you also need the compatibility files, which and you need to run the OG Xbox compatibility setup. So that's what I'm going to go over right now. So just plug the USB that we just created into your Xbox, turn it on, and we'll continue the tutorial from there. Okay, so now we are on the Xbox, and you can see that if you had a stealth server plugged in or anything, you can see that right now everything's disabled. So this is basically OG Xbox mode, but we still need to enable all the or set up the compatibility file. So now you're gonna go to My Games, then go to XEX menu. Now you don't have to sign in, but you can if you want to. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is follow this exactly. So press right bumper once. Now if it's not saying USB 0 at the top right there, basically press right on the D-pad till you see USB 0, USB 1 or 2, just basically USB, and all the files that you dragged on there. So basically you just want to get to this. So you want to press right bumper once when you're in XEX menu, and then you want to just keep pressing right on the D-pad till you see the 3 files that we basically used, or that we put on the USB. Now go into this folder first. Then it also has instructions right here, so just go into OG compatibility fixer folder, and now press default.xex. Now press A. Make sure your console does not turn off during this process. Let it do its thing. Okay, now you're gonna press you're gonna press B, and you're gonna turn off your console and turn it back on. Here we go. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to go back to, oh, come on, stupid controller. Okay, go back to My Games and open XEX menu again. Okay, now press right bumper again and basically go back to your USB again. It should automatically pop up, but if it doesn't, like I said, press right on the D-pad till you see the folders that you got. Now go to compatibility, right? Highlight compatibility, which is the folder that one of the folders that we put on the USB. Press X. Press Y on compatibility. Now press copy. Now press right on the D-pad till you see HDDX. So pay attention right on the top left where it's under the Xbox logo. So just keep pressing right on the D-pad till you see HDDX. Now when you see HDDX, press Y and then press paste. And now that's basically it. Now I'm gonna go over, so basically now we've set up the compatibility stuff, and if you have your OG Xbox games, you can basically run them as long as you turned on your console with the USB. And I'll show you guys what I mean next. Alright guys, so this is what I mean. Okay, so right now, right, so this is the USB that we made specifically for OG Xbox games. Mind the mess. So watch, my USB is not plugged in, and now when I turn on my console, right, so when I turn on my console without the USB plugged in, you'll see that it loads, and you'll see that my stealth server and everything are enabled like how I set it up. Your mod menus, whatever you set up in Dash Launch, will boot normally, because right now it's reading off the hard drive. So this is tethered live, which is the stealth server that I send out with all my consoles. As you can see, it's connected to live, etc. So you can see, like, I'm basically connected to live. You can see the stealth server stuff. Okay, now watch what happens. So now I'm going to turn off the console. Basically, when your console's on like that with your stealth server setup, if you try to load OG Xbox games, it will not work. It'll crash no matter what. Even if it's a compatible Xbox game, it will not work. Now, you take the USB, right, that we set up, you plug it in. Stupid thing. Is it upside down? Yep, it's upside down. Okay, I've never had this much difficulty using my left hand. Okay, so now the USB's plugged in, and watch what happens. Now when we turn it on, you see it goes back to the normal one. So basically it disables all my plugins, because this is basically a reset USB. So now all my plugins are completely disabled, and I can go launch an OG Xbox game and it'll run normally. So now I launch my game, I play it, do everything, and I'm done, right? Now, what other people do is, instead of using this USB, they'll just go into Dash Launch and they'll keep changing it over and over. They'll disable all 5 plugins. Then when they're done playing OG Xbox game, they'll put them all back, and that takes a bunch of time, but this is the easiest way to do it. So now I played my OG Xbox game, I'm done with it, and now I just want to go back on live and play 360 games. All I do is turn off the console, unplug the USB, and now I turn it back on. And now it's back to my stealth server. So this way you can go back and forth without having to ever open Dash Launch. So you can use Dash Launch normally with the USB unplugged, and then anytime the USB is plugged in, it'll be basically OG Xbox mode. All your plugins will be disabled. See, now it's back to normal. No USB plugged in, now my stealth server is back. So that's basically the easiest way to set up your console, so you can go smoothly back and forth from your RGH to your 360. From your 360 RGH to playing OG Xbox games, back and forth without having to keep opening Dash Launch. And that's it for this tutorial, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. I hope this helped a lot of you. I know a lot of people have been asking how to set it up, and it's way easier to set it up this way and just have a USB on the side to just switch between them. So I'll see you guys next time.